am so blessed. I am always connected to Divine Spirit. Spirit is my guide, my GPS, my nudger, my counselor, sometimes my voice, and is always that deep source of knowing. And I want to share with you today a period of my life where I knew all of those connections, and they became so obvious in my life. I've had a rich and interesting spiritual life, but I could never overtly bring that into my work as a school psychologist. And I yearned for that wholeness. I yearned for a faith-based work, but I couldn't do that there. I retired from Seattle Public Schools in the year 2000. And at the time I retired, I knew I was through with that job, but I knew that my real work, more work, was inside me. And that's a capital W, I knew that. But I didn't know what it was, but I also knew that Spirit would let me know. When the time was right, I would be shown. So that faith was really deep, so I went into the cocoon of retirement. A few years later, I was at the gym, and I was having a conversation with a spiritual friend, what I call a God person. And she said she was in a hurry because she was a hospice volunteer, and she had to go. And that word hospice, the word hospice lit me up. I felt shivers, there was light. Something very important happened in that moment, and I still don't understand what it was. But I knew that I had to follow that word. I needed to find out more about that. And so the story is I got myself into a hospice volunteer training program. I was drawn to it. But the training was lovely. I loved it. It was meaningful, but I was always distracted by what it was that the chaplain was doing. This is lovely. What is that? This is lovely. That's what I need to do. And it was so clear. So, and I didn't pay attention to the small footnotes that said that I didn't have the usual qualifications to become a chaplain. So I got myself into chaplain training at Harborview, and when I got into the program, I very soon realized that I needed a church. That's just how confident I was, but I did need a church. So I made a list of 3 churches, and I visited 2, and CSL was my second church, and I'm here. This was my home. So this is Spirit at work through me. This church became my stronghold, the wind beneath my wings. Science of Mind and its true message of unity allowed me to do my work in the trauma hospital for that time, for the 2 years. And at the same time, I was learning to become a practitioner. I learned how to pray, and I blessed my tithe. And I thank all of you who contribute to this church, to all the classes that happen, because you supported me, you changed my life. You allowed me to do my holy work. And I didn't pay attention to the small print footnotes that said that my colleagues were needing to leave the state to find jobs. So I carried on. At the end of my 2 years, my supervisor came up to me. She was always a mentor. Came up to me in all sincerity, said, "Karen, there's a hospital in the South End who is looking for new chaplains who will carry a pager for 24 hours at a time, and they will pay $3 an hour if you carry the pager and go in when you need to." And I said, "Thank you, but God would not have shown me this work if there weren't a job for me." And as soon as I said that, it was, who said that? I don't know, it came out. And I had no physical evidence that that was true at all. So God shows up. In March, I finished the program, In April, the lid came off my Social Security earnings, and in May, I was hired in the interview in Seattle. This work is spiritual practice as I visit patients near the end of their life in their homes. And I'm a practitioner. I've been carried along on the river of life, really, not praying for a boat, but only praying gratitude. I am so blessed. Last week, I gave notice. After 10 and a half years at this amazing second career, it's time to close this expression. I feel both relief and I feel gratitude, and I feel relief and I feel grief. And it's the grief that tells me that I'm not yet finished. All that was in me is still in me, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I am happy, healthy, I am debt-free, and I am loved. And on another level, I know that I am a fully embodied, multidimensional being. I am anchored to this planet, and I am always connected to Divine Spirit. Thank you.